The first chapter of the Epistle of James opens with a tone of wisdom and encouragement, immediately establishing the letter's purpose: to guide believers in living out a faith that is both tested and genuine. James, identifying himself as a servant of God and of the Lord Jesus Christ, addresses the 12 tribes scattered among the nations, speaking to a dispersed community seeking direction and strength in trying times. The letter begins with an unexpected call to consider trials a source of joy. This paradox sets the tone for the rest of the chapter, where James presents spiritual maturity as the fruit of endurance. Trials, he explains, are not punishments but opportunities to cultivate perseverance, which, when fully developed, leads to completeness in character. In this light, suffering becomes a refining process, not a stumbling block. James then turns to the importance of wisdom, urging believers to ask God without doubt, for God gives generously to all. Yet, he warns that the doubter is unstable, tossed by the wind, unable to stand firm. This image underscores the necessity of wholehearted trust in God, especially in the face of life's uncertainties. The chapter also touches on themes of humility and true riches. The poor are to take pride in their high position, and the rich in their low position, for all earthly status is fleeting. Here, James echoes Jesus' teachings, reversing worldly values and calling attention to the temporary nature of wealth. In addressing temptation, James makes a careful distinction. While trials may test faith, temptation does not come from God. Rather, it arises from human desire. Sin, he explains, is not born suddenly but develops gradually, from desire to sin to death. This progression highlights the need for vigilance and self-awareness. James then shifts toward God's character, emphasizing that every good and perfect gift comes from above. Unlike the changing shadows of the world, God does not change. Through his word, he gives believers new birth, marking them as a kind of firstfruits of his creation. The chapter concludes with a focus on practical faith. Believers are urged to be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to anger. Anger, James says, does not produce righteousness. True religion, for James, is not found in hearing the word alone, but in doing it. The person who listens without acting is likened to someone who forgets their reflection. But the one who lives according to the perfect law of liberty is blessed in all they do. The chapter ends with a definition of pure religion: to control one's speech, care for the vulnerable, and remain unstained by the world. In all, James chapter 1 is a call to integrity, challenging readers to live what they profess.